All right, Michael Johnson, we're coming to the end of the track season, and Grand Slam track is really throwing out some heavy hitters. We've seen a couple big names, most recently Kenny Bednarek, and Fred Curley were announced. I mean, coming off those announcements, and also Yard Naguse and Cole Hawker, how are you kind of feeling about the talent that you've been signing on as racers so far?
Yeah, feeling great. We were, waiting until Paris to really understand, who truly is the fastest. And obviously Paris revealed a lot to us. And we got busy right there in Paris, talking to athletes, talking to agents, and helping them to understand what we're trying to build, how they can be a part of this. And it's been, great. Response to what we're building. We always thought that would be the case, and the proof now is that athletes have shown that they are excited about this, excited to be a part of the league. And we're super excited about Yared and Cole joining Josh, and then of course with Kenny and Fred, two guys that I enjoy watching over the year. Just major competitors. They get out there and compete, and that's exactly what we want.
Nice. And so now having, again, it seems like every week you're getting new names. Is that kind of enticing more athletes to be like, hold on, I actually want to do an audit? Like, there's a lot of people starting to dive into the conversation. You're talking to a lot more people to get signed on as racers.
Yeah, I think, look, it's new. I mean, Grand Slam track is new. There's no doubt about that. And people are a little bit, kind of want to understand it. And I understand that, and I respect that people want to understand it first before they dive in. And now that athletes are seeing other athletes who have signed on to the league, it makes them feel a little bit more comfortable, which is good. So that's been a real positive. But I have to say, for me, there will always be that sort of, these are the folks that, before anybody else signed on, said, you know what, I get it, I love the concept. Sydney, nobody else has signed on before Sydney. Sydney was the first to say, I'm in. Josh right behind her, I'm in. And so major respect to those athletes who got it right away and were, not waiting on others, waiting to see what's going to happen. They were like, I get this.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of it.
Yeah. I mean, one hesitation that, we've heard in conversations with athletes is broadcast, right? Like, do we have an idea on how this is going to be shown to fans, to people who want to be able to watch Grand Slam track next year?
Yeah, so, we are committed to making sure that we grow this sport, through our television partner. We're working on that now. The good thing for us from the very beginning is that, all of the television potential partners out there globally, streamers, linear television broadcast partners as well, are interested. They get it. They understand what we're trying to build. For us, it's important that we make sure we partner with the right organization that's going to help us build this audience over the next few years. That's the most important thing for us. It's also important for us, given how we're structured and the amount of money that we raise for this and what we're valued at. We have to have television. We have to reach the broadest audience that we possibly can. And while everybody wants to know, and that's the big question, which I get, certainly with track where there's been a struggle, to get good quality broadcast partners, putting us, the sport in prime time. You've got quality broadcast partners, but can you get in the prime time slots that you need to in order to reach the broadest audience? That's been a struggle for the sport. So I understand that people are concerned about that. We have to be in that position. Failure is not an option for us, but again, the good thing for us is that they're all interested. We're having very positive conversations, and we're confident that, we will have the right partner. But it's a complex, negotiation because, the thing is I think people don't really understand is that it's not just about getting a broadcast partner. It's not just about the dollars as well. It's about getting the broadest reach. It's about, carving out certain rights so that athletes themselves can actually post, clips of videos, from the race, from that content. That's going to help us reach a broader audience. So that's a carve out. You have now things like, CITIUS, you guys, we need to be able to partner with books like you, content creators, and be able to reserve those rights so that you guys can actually post That's going to help us. It's going to help our broadcast partner as well. But those are the sorts of things that you have to, and there's all sorts of new technology that continues to come up. You talk about, things like Apple Vision Pro, if you want that on that platform, which we would want, you have to carve that out of your broadcast rights. There's data involved that's collective when you're working with a broadcast partner. That data is valuable. Who owns it? You or the broadcast partner.
Yeah.
This is complex. That's why the NBA took forever in order to get that deal done, because these are not things that you just do and get done in like 2 seconds. I could do it till today if they're bad deal. I mean, we can't afford it.
And then people will be complaining,
Exactly.
right? Yeah. So speaking of content creators and like the community in general, right? We come to a lot of these meets, whether it's, Diamond Leagues or Content Store, whatever kind of meets are held. And, maybe the presentation is, kind of traditional. Have you taken some input from content creators, from, storytellers to kind of build a vision of what you might see in Grand Slam track in terms of the coverage, overall?
Absolutely. So, that's a really important part of how we're going to grow the audience of this track. We have 2 things we have to do. We have to retain the avid track fan who has dedicated untold hours to try and find this sport, and are dedicated to that and jump through all sorts of hoops to find it and support it. We've got to actually give them more and better than they've been getting. That's one thing that we're committed to. The other thing is we've got to go out and we've got to bring that casual audience in. Those people who watched track and field during the Olympics and now have forgotten about track.
Yeah.
They're like, that was great, that was amazing. We have to get them in and say, okay, we can give you more of that. In order to do that, we have to take cues from sports that are doing it right today, and how they're presenting their sport to our audience. We have to take cues from what's great about this sport already and make sure we retain how it's presented from that perspective. But yeah, we have to listen to people who are on the front lines, content creators who are succeeding in bringing people into this sport. We have to take cues from them as to what they want to see, what they're doing right as well. I take a lot of shit on Twitter, and have over the years for saying, hey, what about this or what about that? A lot of that is research, to see what people are going to say, and people, kind of, like, oh, well, you're just complaining and not doing anything about it. Okay, I wasn't able to say anything then when people were like, oh, what are you going to do about it? Okay, well, I'm doing it. But a lot of that, was me understanding from content creators and fans as well, what do they want to see?
Yeah. And I think that's extremely valuable because obviously you have a huge presence on Twitter, and yeah, people don't see what's going on in the background, right? They don't see that, okay, you're learning from these conversations. You're literally asking questions online sometimes, right. To poke people's brains. So the other thing I want to ask is, the cities, right? You've announced Los Angeles so far. What are we kind of looking forward to in terms of, what might we expect when talking about, some of the other cities? We haven't announced it, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's coming very soon. So here in the next few weeks, we will announce the other cities that we're going to be in. We do have a heavy focus on the U.S., and that is a real priority for us. We feel like there's a real opportunity to grow the sport in the U.S. It has been the constant mystery for decades now how the U.S. can just absolutely dominate the medal table at global championships and have the best athletes in this sport. Yet, we can't grow the fan base in this sport in the U.S. I think we can do that now. So it's a real focus for us. So yeah, I know everybody wants to know that as well. They want to know, what cities, who's broadcast partner, and we will get there in time, and we will get there in our own time. That's how we're going to build this league. So people can always ask and be hungry for the information, and that is their right. And it is our right and our responsibility to do those things, to announce these things in a responsible way. And so those cities that we're partnering with, they are valuable partners for us, and so we owe it to them to announce with them and in conjunction with them so that we get them the duty that they want out of this and need out of this as well, so they continue to be supporters of us.
There you go. And then just also a couple where you've been signing on a lot of racers, and we know there's going to be challengers as well, right, who are actually signed on, as racers to the league. how are you kind of going about working with potential challengers? Is that like in the thought process right now, or is that going to come later on when in 2025?
No, that's coming right now because in each group we only have 4 racers. So there are groups right now where we're pretty much full. And,
Already full. Okay.
I mean, there's a conversation. That was a really cool conversation, which sort of foretells, sort of the excitement that we're going to be generating with this league and how it's structured. The conversation around who's going to be that 4th racer in, our group, of the 8-15.
Yep.
It's there are probably 3 or 4 people that could legitimately, go in that spot, and that means that somebody's going to end up being, or a couple of people are going to end up being challengers, right? So we're having to think about that now, and that's the same situation in multiple groups, given that we continue to sign athletes. So it's a really cool conversation. It's a great debate, for fans to get into, who they think, should get that 4th spot, and who's going to be left as a challenger. But, look, our challengers, are valuable to us as well, and it's a really interesting and unique spot for them to be in as well, where, they get to compete for $100,000 in prize money at each one of our slams. They will get a modest appearance fee, a standard appearance fee. It won't be, base compensation like our racers, but it gives them the opportunity as well to get into the Grand Slam track system, and maybe get to somebody being a racer.
Becoming a racer, yeah. So last thing, just, here in Brussels at the Diamond League final, getting a chance to see, athletes close out their season. And of course, there's been a conversation of various different, the Diamond League has been World Athletics' main league over the past, since 2010. Now we have a Grand Slam track coming up. How do you kind of see Grand Slam track and the racers who are competing, in GSC? How do you see them fitting in if they're going to compete in Diamond League, or if they're going to compete in any other, leagues and competitions throughout the years?
Yeah, I mean, it's a common question. I think the first thing is to, just sort of level set that, our athletes, our racers are not exclusive. They will run in Grand Slam track. They will also compete in other meets around the world, Diamond League meets, and of course championships. And we'll be supporting them there. We're supporting athletes. Sydney here in Brussels at the Diamond League. We're here supporting her. We've been promoting through our social as well, the Brussels Diamond League, because athletes are competing here. So we feel like where we sit. I mean, I'm unapologetic about my perspective that we sit at the top of the sport, at the top of the pyramid, with the highest prize money and the most high-profile athletes. I feel like there's a responsibility for us with that. There's a responsibility for us to uplift the sport, all of the sport, field events, which we don't have. We have a responsibility to sit at the top of this sport, though, to promote field events, which we will do, and we have been doing. Promote other meets, even the Diamond League. Whether the Diamond League sees us as a competitor or not, we see them as part of the sport, so we're going to uplift the Diamond League. I think, someone asked, during the Zurich press conference, may have been you, asked Josh, I think, something I think is about, the Diamond League and about this ordinary. I think his answer was perfect. He said, look, I competed in, it doesn't matter. It's like I competed in 2 Diamond League meets last year. I'll probably compete in 2 Diamond League meets next year. So nothing changes for Josh. I think nothing's going to change for a lot of other athletes. Some things will change for some, but I think the amount of races that athletes, the highest level athletes, the amount of races that they compete in the Diamond League, I think is overestimated. How many races they compete in. So we have 4 races. No athlete's going to be able to sustain an entire season off of just 4 races, so they got to race somewhere else, and it's probably going to be a Diamond League. But maybe not, I mean, everybody's different, and everybody's going to figure out their season, and that's up to them. But as far as we're concerned with Grand Slam track, what we are doing is putting together, innovative presentation competitions, which are the best of the best athletes competing against one another and treated as true professional athletes, where they're contracted to be there, so that our fans who are watching television, our fans who are interested in buying a ticket, will know that the best athletes are going to be there. That has not existed in the sport. It does now at Grand Slam track, and as far as I'm concerned, given that, we're filling a void that didn't exist. So in terms of who or what we're competing against, nothing out there. That was the way I see it.
Nice, yeah. I know 100% facts. For me, as just a fan, knowing that I'm gonna see Sidney McLaughlin-Levrone, I'm gonna see Josh Kirk, I'm gonna see Frank Curley, like guaranteed. I mean, that's hard to beat. That's absolutely hard to beat. So
It's what every other. If I buy the ticket to the Lakers, I know LeBron's gonna be there.
you're gonna see him there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's September. If I buy a ticket to a Lakers match, a game in March of next year, I know right now today, LeBron's going to be there.
Exactly.
Going to be playing unless he's injured.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the case for most sports, and that's how you build a true fan base for that sport, where they need to know that people are going to be there. Television is another important thing, though. No television broadcasters want to get involved and pay big, rights fees for a sport if they don't have the guarantee that the best athletes are going to be there.
Very true, very true. Well, again, we're all excited. I know the names of the racers, it's only growing every single day, it seems like. So thanks so much, Michael. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.